Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another photography-related video. Today I'm going to be talking about this monster of a lens. This is the Canon RF 400 2.8 Prime. Now this is an exceptionally expensive piece of gear. I'm going to put the retail price up on the screen here, but this is really a pricey lens that's really intended for a fairly narrow narrow swath of photographers, professional photographers primarily, though there are definitely some well-heeled enthusiasts out there who take advantage of this lens. Who's it for? You know, again, somebody who needs the reach that the 400 provides, but also needs that f2.8 aperture, so someone who needs a really fast, bright lens that's good in low light conditions, that can really freeze action in lower light conditions. It's genuinely a specialty tool in that regard. So why do I have this? Well, I actually borrowed this from Canon Professional Services. I recently shot the Battle on the Bricks in Indianapolis at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's an IMSA race, and I've been at this particular race before. I do love shooting auto races, and I went there with the BMW Car Club of America. I'm kind of their for the Ohio Buckeye chapter. I'm kind of their unofficial photographer for the club. And last year when I went, I just had my R5 and my 70-200 f2.8, and when they took me around to different parts of the track to get some shots, there were some places where it really wasn't a problem, but where the club is on the track. We use the BMW Performance Center building that's on the track. It's a great building, and it has a roof that overlooks the track, and from that rooftop position, you need some reach to be able to get some really good photos of the cars coming around one of the turns on the track and then coming through a pretty decent straightaway. I got some great shots with my 70-200, but I had to really crop the snot out of those images. I needed every pixel of that 45 megapixel sensor on the R5. This year, have the R5 Mark II, and knowing that I could use some extra reach, I thought, what the heck, let me grab the 400 Prime from Canon Professional Services, and they sent this over to me, and I used it primarily with the R1. Hadn't had a chance to shoot with that yet. I have done a written photo review as well as a video here on the Through My Lens YouTube channel, and the written photo reviews on Through My Lens. This video review of this lens is also meant to be a video supplement to the written photo review that's found on Through My Lens. Link in the description box for that. So again, a really strong use case for a professional sports shooter who knows that they need the reach. Doesn't mind the fact that you have that fixed focal length on a 400 Prime. I kind of figure that you need a second camera set up with a second lens if you're going to use this, because especially with sports where everybody's moving, I think you'd have a hard time just using a prime focal length like a 400. I would think you would want another camera set up with a zoom lens of some kind, but I guess there are those that if you know your venue and you know your subject and you know that you can use the 400 Prime successfully, more power to you. But that's just one of the problems outside of the price with the lens, is that fixed 400 focal length. One of the nice things about this is it is compatible with the RF teleconverter. Canon makes a 1.4x and a 2x teleconverter. When you use the 1.4 teleconverter, I believe this becomes an f4. When you use the or the 2x teleconverter, I think it becomes an f5.6. Again, fixed. But that does give you the option of extending that reach In the case of the 1.4x teleconverter, you can get out to 560 millimeters reach, and then if you use the 2x, obviously you're at 800. So that's a really neat feature that really does extend the capabilities. I can't imagine that anybody would need to shoot much beyond 800 millimeters, for all practical purposes. So that's a real benefit. The lens. Let me go ahead and take off the lens hood. It doesn't have a lens cap. You see this this canvas cover here? This is kind of the default lens cap because take a look at the front element on this camera. My goodness, that's like a dinner plate. I mean, that's like a little frisbee. So Canon doesn't really make a lens cap that covers that. Again, I was shooting an auto race and try to do a little bit of panning with this, but keep in mind, when you're in daylight and you're trying to pan with a lens like this, an f2.8, in order to get the shutter speed down, to get the nice background blur, to get radial blur on the tires, you're going to need an ND filter to slow things down. And I didn't have, one of these dinner plate sized ND filters, so I really wasn't able to take many panning shots. I do have some examples where I froze action that are in the written photo review, so I would invite you to take a look at that for the samples. Optical quality is second to none on this lens. Now, I will say if you do have a requirement for a lens like this, you might really want to think about the EF counterparts that you would use with an EF to RF adapter, because this RF 400 prime really isn't substantially different than the EF lens that came right before this one. There's actually 3 generations of the EF 400 millimeter f2.8 prime, a Mark 1, a Mark 2, and a Mark 3, and not long after the Mark III came out, they came out with the RF version. Just I think a couple years later, and all they really did primarily was just put the RF mount on this piece of glass. They had already gone through all the iterations really of making the Canon more optically stronger in performance, reducing weight in the past 3 generations. There wasn't much that they could do to improve this lens over that Mark III version. As a matter of fact, if you look on the secondary market, you're not going to pay a lot less for a pre-owned EF 400 prime, the generation 3, than you will with the RF version. But look at the Gen 2 or even the Gen 1, which are really strong lenses, and you can get a substantial price savings. I've heard you can actually get one of the Gen 1 EF 400 f.28 primes for $2,000 or $3,000. Probably going to be pretty beat up because, again, these were used by working pros that used their gear and traveled a lot, and the lenses get dinged up. A lens like this is going to require a little extra care to make sure that it doesn't get fungus or mold on the inside. You're going to want to be a member of Canon Professional Services and send this in once a year for maintenance. I think that's a must. But again, really, the optical quality is beyond reproach. Amazing lens. I really enjoyed shooting with it. It gave me the reach that I was looking for on the track. For me, I compared the shots that I took with my R5, and I do have an EF 100 to 400, the Mark II of that lens, and at 400, I was not disappointed when I compared those shots. That's an incredibly good lens, and I got it for well under $2,000. And I already had the 1.4 EF version of the 1.4x teleconverter. So with that teleconverter, I can get out to close to about 560 on that lens. So really impressive performance. This one probably not for me. I need the flexibility of the zoom and the kind of photography that I do, but there are a lot of pro shooters that don't want to shoot with anything but a prime, and this certainly fits the bill if you can pay the price tag. So really enjoyed my time with the Canon RF 400 f2.8 prime. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. God bless. I'll see you in the next one.
I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.